Hello and welcome back to 26 Ways to Draw a Letter, brought to you by Secura. I'm Lisa, I'm your guide and host and drawing hand for this series. And well, this is the M day, okay? Letter M in 26 different ways. So just go grab a couple of fine liners. I use the microns, you know that by now. Or any other pen available, and a piece of paper or the worksheet that I've linked to below, whatever floats your boat. And let's do letter M. Okay, so the letter M by the hands of, well, the hand is mine obviously, but the pens are the Secura Pigma micron size 8 and 10. M, okay, 4 straight lines, 2 diagonals. This is what we got to work with. So let's start by softening this a little bit, shall we? Doesn't have to be harsh and sharp edges and angles. You can do it rather smoothly. Or, you know, a block letter M is like a giant but kind of friendly, block. It fills out a lot of the square that you could place it in if you wanted to. So here's a block letter M with a monoline 1 inside of it. Double M. Or perhaps some you can always do with some shading, right? So this shade falls below and to the right of the letter, okay? Keep that in mind. You have to just decide where the lamp is shining from. In this case, upper right corner. Oh, sorry, upper left corner. Not confusing at all, am I? So the shade will be on the bottom and right corner of the letter. Now I'm moving away from the sterile, weird block letter and going into curly mode here. There, the cute M. And so perhaps we can make a sort of block letter, but with a bit more, should we say, juiciness, or a bit more schwung. There you are. I have to do the same thing here, like that. And why not? Because so often when we're gonna draw different shapes of one letter, we move away from the obvious ones, but they should have a place in here too. So this is a, can I say, a regular M, like that. Perhaps I should fill it in. Should I fill it in? Yeah, I should. Filling it in. Yeah, so it's easy to think that every letter form has to be this totally unique and super creative experience, while what I'm doing as a lettering artist is really mostly altering details in letters. So you don't have to go all crazy, even if it helps your penmanship. Okay, next one, I'm thinking a soft, oh, it looks like a butt. And also I didn't get that symmetrical. Oh, okay, can't say that. So to get the butt off the paper, I'm gonna add some extra lines here and fill them in. There, tweaking, and filling them in. Now it sort of looks like boobs from above in a dress. No? Yeah. Anyways, this is a letter M, and perhaps we can just I don't have to close this M. I'm just gonna let it be like this uneven. Yeah, uneven down there in the bottom, because it doesn't have to be all regular and like conventional all the time, does it? Okay, so I'm picking up the finer fine liner. This is the size 8, and I'm thinking about, you know, when my kids were small, they had these blocks in different shapes and forms. So that's what I am making this M out of, different blocks in geometrical shapes. Kind of wanna color these. Oh well. Anyways, and per usual, while I'm doing this, I'm also contemplating my next move here, and I'm thinking I will give you an M with some flow or minor flourishes. Let's see. So we start off in a little curl, and there, and ending with a curl, and perhaps we can also add here, yeah, adding a little one there. I'm gonna have to draw it past that, and adding some of the lines, adding a thickness to some of the lines, you know, the downward lines in every letter, like that. There, kind of a windy, curly, also elegant, yet yeah. Anyways, next up is an M that is made out of a bunch of circles. And now I'm thinking about the more geometrical one, if I could make like little, yeah, triangles here, so that it could actually be one line all the way there. And also on this concept of mixing different geometrical shapes and forms, here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles, almost like a dice, and I'm connecting them like that. And here's your M. It's like the circles are the joints, if you will, on the M. So I'm gonna fill this in. There. Makes me think of Mickey Mouse. There, on the other, and perhaps I should also like smooth the transition between the circle and the lines a little bit. Should I? Yeah, grabbing the finer one, 08, and just rounding those little corners up a little bit. It's all in the details. I've said that like 100 times before. I know. Okay, so we haven't done any serifs yet. A serif M that I'm thinking could also be kind of, it doesn't have to be all symmetrical, because serifs normally sort of signals a symmetrical, very conventional letter that is totally inside the box. So perhaps we could just have a little bit of fun with it by, well, pretty much just making one leg shorter than the other, and you have this sort of fun dynamic within the letter. And here is an M, or is it mountaintops? There. Now I'm thinking I could make multiple M's into one. So here's the first one. The other one goes on the outside and also under. Outside, under. Get it? So another one, still the same. Ooh, it's starting to look like a spider. I'm really sorry about that. I didn't realize it was I'm drawing a spider. Okay. There is your spider for you. Yeah. So let's proceed away from that one. A block M with a massive shade. You know how I always talk about how the light, the imaginary light at least, decides where the shade should fall, and almost all the time we point the light from somewhere above the letter, because that's the normal thing, you know, like lamps and sun and everything shines from above. But you can also pretend that the light shines from below, which will give a more sometimes scary look to letters. And we have to try that too, right? So in this case, I'm sort of imagining two lamps shining from each side, but from under and up on the letter. So that is why the shade is pointed this way. It's easy to get caught up in your old habits, because it's much easier to draw something that you've drawn a lot of times before. There's not that much resistance in that. But that's not where you learn and evolve. So you have to change things up once in a while. And the rest of the shade there. Okay. Now we move on to another M. I got an idea. I'm not sure how it works. So let's see. I'm starting with a block letter M. And then I thought I'd draw diagonal lines through it. So, okay, here's the M. And then I'm just drawing lines like this. And I was thinking that, yeah, so every other line I fill in the letter with black between those two. And I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but I was thinking that once I have filled them in, there and also the tiny corner there, I could sort of make it feel like the color stretches almost outside of the letter, simply by once more cutting the corners or rounding some corners up. See? So it almost looks like the color stretches. Like you've placed these stripes of colors on the letter and you're stretching them. Not sure it makes sense here, but in my own brain I do. There, and the last one. Yeah, it's pretty fun. That's the thing, you know, it doesn't always have to end up like great, but it is a miraculous thing if you try something new just to see what happens. See what happens. That's like a great motto to have while drawing letters. So here's a funny looking M where the legs are thick and the small arc in the middle are thin. I'm now thinking a huge kind of massive M with some small twists at the end and the beginning. That's why I left those openings here. So I'm going to do a little bit of a swoosh there, and of course on this side too. And they do not look like, but who cares? Who cares? I'm gonna have to fill it in. and touching up the lines. That is the best thing about filling in the letters with black. You can do all these little tweaks and it doesn't show. A lot of times I find that one of the hardest things about drawing letters is that you have to know when to stop tweaking. Because it's like you cross this invisible line and suddenly all the tweaking you're doing is only making the letter look more off or asymmetrical or unbalanced or whatever. So sure, you have to learn how to try and explore and experiment for new things, but you also have to learn when not to do that. There. Okay, next I'm thinking something tall and very skinny. Yeah, turned out okay. So tall and skinny, okay, with almost like, let's see. There and ooh, look at this. Ooh, it looks like a beak. From here it looks like a bird's. Can you see it? If not, I'm adding some teeth here, and birds don't have teeth. Okay, so now it's a crocodile. I don't know. It's so silly with the teeth. Anyways, it was just to show you the beak that I saw. So here's an M without any proper contours. It's just like when you're frying an egg, like on a pan, it just flows out. But even if it flows out, it can still be, I'm sorry about the focus there, it can still have some dimension, like this shade here. There, putting the shade, as you can see, on the right side of the letter and below it. So my imaginary lamp shines from above left corner, right? There. And now thinking about the flourishes or the ornamental details, if you will. I'm using, I drew the M with the size 10, but now I'm using the size 8, and I'm just gonna go with these circly, sorry about the focus, these circly ornaments, like they're branches growing from a tree or something. Okay, so they don't have to be symmetrical. You can see they're not. But it's just a lot of curly things going on here. There. Make sure that they don't collide, though. Have to think about the negative space there, and also perhaps on the inside of these. So you can just keep adding them. Don't know where I'm gonna go with that one. Okay, it's a short. And what do I do here? I go on that side. There. And a couple more here. And there. Yeah. Like I said before, gotta know when to stop. I can just add some extra tiny lines to further grow this branch metaphor, right? There. So now it's a lot of circles and branches, so it's almost like you can't see the M anymore. Oh, like that. Okay, so here's an M that is spread out wide at the top, but a little bit tighter at the bottom. Once more, I can see the beak again. Can you see it? Not gonna draw teeth this time, I promise you. So an M here. I don't have much space here on the side of the paper. Okay, up. I'm not sure where I'm going with this. and I can almost not fit that in. Okay, there, and I'm gonna just fill this in. That is a weird letter. Yeah, okay. Moving on. Okay, now hear me out. I'm thinking an M is, it could really be like these two big stems, and in the middle a smaller one. Yeah, I understand if you don't follow, but like, hear me out or see this out. So here are 3 trees, and they're also an M, right? Because the leaves connect the stems to each other, so it's an M. Oh, gotta have some grass too, in case you didn't see that this actually is trees. And I'm using the size 8 for the grass. Okay, we have 2 more to go. That's a funny M. 2 more to go. Yeah. So one, I'm thinking like, you know, where I draw the double lines to make them thicker. I'm thinking we could do that, but not connect them to the lines that they are parallel with, like this. That's cool. Kind of like that one. The last one, I'm giving you an M full of stars. It's actually made up of stars. I'm using the size 8 here, and remember that there is strength in numbers. So every star, meaning that every star don't have to look perfect at all, because when you draw many, the eye sort of gets a little bit confused and it sees the whole picture rather than one single star. So each little star here is like a puzzle that creates a bigger picture. And once the brain catches that bigger picture, it doesn't worry that much about details. Here's another thing: if you add more details, it confuses the brain even more and lets you off doing all these weird, wonky, wobbly stars. So yeah, that is 26 different M's. See you next time.